Hello, everybody. My name is Lorraine Anderson. I'm going to be your host today of the very first Magic.com live shopping experience. I'm so excited. We've been working on this for a really long time, and I can't wait to show you some of the amazing things we have here, including some of my brand new work and the brand new Dark Magic Oracle by this wonderful, beautiful lady here, Fiona Horne, my guest co host for today.
Thanks, Lorraine.
So, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and
Oh my
what you've got
goodness.
going on?
Well, first and foremost, I'm thrilled to be standing next to you because I love what you do, what the beauty of what you create with Seasons of the Witch, and just the integrity and authenticity and the gift that it is to the magical community.
Thank you.
And also the everyday community who needs some guidance, and that's what's so beautiful about the work you create. And I hope that with what I've done, it's been about 15 books now, and Dark Magic is my second oracle. My first was Magic of You Oracle, which was very well received. And I was so grateful to touch the lives of people that I did with that oracle. But Dark Magic is it's a new adventure for me. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later.
Right.
And I know Art of Witch over here is my manifesto of witchcraft that I wrote in 2019, having, I guess, been a practicing witch and walking the path of the witch for over 30 years. So amongst other things, but I guess we'll talk about all that later.
Yeah.
And all the amazing stuff we have here today to enhance everyone's magical lives.
We definitely have a lot of really great stuff going on today. But before we get started, I kind of just want to invite you to maybe do a little opening ceremony for us, get the portal open for everyone who's joining us live.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe with one of these luscious goodies here.
Oh, wow. Okay. Should I light a smudge stick, do you think?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Let's do this one then. Here we go. Let's see if I get it lit in the beautiful breeze that the producers have so kindly given us today. So
guys,
that
it's hot in LA, so bear with us. We're a little warm. Can you
it might have to be a symbolic smudging. Maybe. Hang on. Here we go. I think it's coming together. And you know what? It's not going to. So guess what we do? In those instances, we think of what the element of air is, and smudging is the smoke that comes from smudging is definitely something that embodies the element of air and also can, we believe, clear and cleanse spaces. Lorraine's going to have another go here with another stick. So anyway, I'll open the circle of our Magic Live, our first Magic Live event, and honor the elements of air, earth, fire, and water. And Lorraine's managed to light the smudge stick over here. Oh, that smells amazing.
Yeah.
So we honor the elements, we open the circle, and we ask that everyone that enters the circle with us today, who joins us today on Magic Live, is going to be blessed with a sense of inspiration and protection, because that's one of the themes we're going to be looking at today, and the blessings of the goddess and the god, however you experience it in your life. May we all be blessed.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. And this actually is sage wrapped in dragon's blood, dipped in dragon's blood, which I love. It smells so good. It's almost like floral with a little bit of vanilla and like a little hint of patchouli. Dragon's blood is really one of my favorites, and it is protecting. So, and as Fiona said, that's the theme that we have going for today. And it just so happens to match my brand new journal, the Seasons of the Witch Samhain journal. Which I'm super excited to talk about. I've kind of been like running through it. It's a beautiful addition to those of you who are familiar with the Seasons of the Witch Oracle series. That series actually started with a deck called the Seasons of the Witch Samhain, which was an indie version and originally had 60 cards. So when you get this journal, you're actually going to get 6 additional images that are not in the current deck of the Seasons of the Witch Samhain. So you get a little bit extra that you can't get anywhere else. And it really is quite beautiful. I'm really excited to work with it. I was thinking morning that the day after Mabon is gone, I'm going to go through this journal one by one and use all of the prompts that are in here. And I think it's journals.
What are you going to use this prompt for, Lorraine?
Well, I think that's too R-rated for our TV today. Just kidding.
No, well, I mean, the amazing thing, make a list of your needs. Then review it with honesty and sincerity. How much of your list are truly needs? How much is lustful temptation? Find clarity within these pages. I love that it's the clarity of knowing what you need, and also understanding what you don't need, and what sometimes making room in your life and making sacrifices is the way for the universe to bring through your greatest gifts and greatest lessons. And certainly what I noticed when I opened this beautiful journal is just how The art is astonishing. It's just so stunning and so evocative. We're just cutting to the art over there. And then the questions that prompt the prompts. Black cat, where do you need to establish more boundaries? Journey. Describe your life from your earliest memory until now. Allow this journey to show you the perfection of the path. I love this one. I really relate to it, actually. I mean, we have to do a little behind the scenes. We were here rehearsing yesterday and doing a lot of spontaneous ritual work as we and divination work as we opened this journal, and I really related to this one. So
she's a pilot, by the way, so this is why this is very apropos for her. But it is such a wonderful journal, and the reason why I wanted to write it is just because I have so many people now in this Seasons of the Witch community who come to me and are saying things like, I work with the oracle deck, but I really need to have practical guidance. How do I kind of take this out of the card and move it out of my oracle reading and into the everyday
life?
And I think journaling is so important in that, right? Because sometimes, guys, our ego has to catch up to our spirit. A lot of times we get in our own way, and journaling really gives you a space to be able to kind of let things unfold and let things happen organically.
And that's even how I started writing books. With 15 books when I was younger, I journaled all the time.
Oh, no kidding.
It's a way of collecting my thoughts, and also having touchstones, useful touchstones as you move through life. And that's where I think this journal is really amazing. And you're going to actually release other ones that are collectible, is that correct?
Well, we may. We're thinking about it.
Right
now, this one is kind of the test one, and just kind of see how it unfolds and how it unlocks. I'm still learning how to use it too. I think that's the beautiful thing about a journal is there's really no right or wrong way to go about doing it. One of the things that I love to do in a journal, though, is if I'm working on an energy for the month, I'll make a little mini mood board and I'll actually paste it in my journal. So you can use this journal to record your tarot readings, your oracle readings. You can use it as a planner. You can use it as a daily diary. I mean, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. And as I said earlier, I think what I'm going to do is just the day after Mabon, I'm going to take one prompt one by one. I think it's 40 days from maybe 45-ish from Mabon to Samhain. So you've got one prompt every single day that you can play around with. And I think that's going to be a beautiful process. And then, of course, next year you get a new journal and, keep going. See how it changes.
Unfolding, keep the lessons unfolding. And if you're interested in getting this today, you can actually look on your screen if you're on a laptop, and you can point, if I'm pointing to the right, I think that's correct, and you'll see the products, all the beautiful, amazing, magical things we have here today listed. And if you're watching on your smartphone or smart device, there should be a little logo that you can click on if you'd like to get Lorraine's Seasons of the Witch Sewing Journal. And it's 20% off today.
That's right.
Is that right?
Everything is automatically 20% off. So you don't even have to do anything. You just add to the cart and it will be added for you. And you probably want to pick up the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle while you're at it. I'm actually going to be signing some of these today. So you have the option to buy it signed or not signed. It's totally up to you. But this is a wonderful, wonderful oracle. Like I said, it started the whole Seasons of the Witch Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck series. And it really is like quite lovely. I mean, it's got this beautiful red foil on it, and probably the showstopper of this deck, it certainly stopped me in my tracks, was this red gilding. I mean, how lovely is that? It really is so beautiful, so witchy, and like so Halloween-ish. The backs of the card, I mean, just the color of these cards are so amazing and so beautiful. And then you have this beautiful artwork by an artist we found on Instagram named Giada Rose, who is really fantastic. I mean, she does these incredible images. I actually have a friend, when she first saw the deck, she saw it and she goes, Lorraine, this deck is so creepy. And I loved that she said that, because we don't want to run away from the darkness. We don't want to run away from our shadow and the things that, we need to face. And we actually were talking about this yesterday. You said, sometimes if you're afraid, that probably means you need to run towards it.
Yeah, if you feel fear, it's a key that can unlock an opportunity to experience a deeper sense of your abilities, yourself, and also how you can share that with others.
And that's really what I tried to accomplish in this deck. It's just that ability to do a lot of shadow work, to do a lot of grounding, to stop and say, okay, what am I afraid of? And am I actually afraid? Is this something that's actually scary, or is this an opportunity for me to grow and kind of unlock and unleash myself? And I believe you will have the same benefits if you work with this deck too. So
are you going to do a reading?
I am going to do a reading. Why not?
Are you going to get me to pull a card, or are you going
to? How about we do both? I think we're going to do a little bit of both.
Okay.
By the way, these shuffle beautifully. If you have all the tarot and oracle decks that I have like 250 decks. A lot.
It's better at shuffling than me.
Well, the cards, the card quality really makes a difference.
The quality of the cards is beautiful, yeah.
Rockpool, we share a publisher, and Rockpool, even though we're biased, has the most amazing packaging. I mean, the softness of this box, the cards, they shuffle really well. So, okay, while I'm gabbing about how fantastic our publisher is, let me get you to pull a card.
Okay. Oh, nice.
We were just talking about this yesterday.
I mean, I wondered, like, you have a little rehearsal because this is Magic Life. So it's the first show. We had to have a little bit of a test run yesterday. And I wondered what would happen today when we met on camera again. And we're pulling the same messages, the same cards. So that means there's some continuity and some thread through all of this. So this is Broom 8. Do you want to tell me about this?
Sure.
I know what I'm thinking about it.
I will tell you about this. Just a quick note, when you have stalker cards is what I call them. Whenever you keep pulling the same card over and over and over again, it really is just a way or a sign to pay attention. That's really a synchronicity that you need to ask, what is this really trying to teach me? In this particular card.
Can I read them?
Yeah, go for it.
So there's like a couple of lines on the bottom of the card that help you explain understand the meaning of it. So Broom, number 8. 8's infinity to me. It's like the endless loop. And, so what dreams may come from what you seek, make room, make way, a clearing need be.
And that is the heart of this card. This is the clearing card. And we use broom symbolically to sweep away things that are kind of in the way, that are keeping us from being our true selves, to sweep away negative energy, all of these things. So this is really a card about letting go of things that don't serve you and letting go of things that are already falling away anyway. I mean,
and self-limiting beliefs too.
That's right.
I think that sort of just came through to me then. It's like self-limiting beliefs, like understanding that no matter what your journey in life is and how long it's been going in linear times, like in linear terms, that there is always an opportunity to revisit your path.
That's right.
And clean your path, sweep it clean and keep going. And the other thing I noticed about this, I don't know if you've heard of this, Lorriane, I've written about it in a couple of my books, but there's maybe it's folklore, but I find it works. I have a broom. I have a witch's broom when I'm not nomadic and I have a place to stay. But I always put it at the back door, and it makes sure people that I don't want in the house leave quickly.
You know what? I keep a broom over my front door to keep people that I don't want in from coming. I
let them in, but I make sure they leave quickly. She doesn't let them in.
I don't let them in. We keep that broom right in the front so that anybody who's unwanted doesn't even come to the door. And it's kind of funny when people look at it and think, I don't know if I want to be in this witchy house, and that's the point. But I think it is so beautiful, and I think you can really speak to the heart of this broom just because you are so nomadic and you travel so much. And I imagine that there's a lot of that has to require you to let go of places that you're really connected to and people that you formed relationships with. But you have to do that in order to grow and to let your wings, fly and take off. So I feel like that is very, very much appropriate for you too.
Right?
Why don't you pull one more?
Okay. Will this be for our home audience?
Yes, let's do a card for our audience at home. We're going to do a card for the collective. What do you guys all need right now? You pulled Journey, didn't you?
God.
I didn't even see it. I can imagine.
Journey. What the? Sorry, everyone. I'm hogging your reading. This is obviously for me again.
She pulled. I kid you not. She pulled this
ridiculous.
Yesterday.
I pulled it yesterday. I opened it in the journal, and Lorraine kept getting the centaur. I don't know. We'll talk about that later off camera. Okay, may I read this?
Yes.
Because you know what the other really crazy thing is?
What's that?
It's number 24. I'm born on the 24th of June. 2 and 4 is 6, and I'm born 66. So 24666, card number 24.
Happy belated birthday,
Journey.
by the way.
Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. So it's like, oh gosh, listen to this. Daughters of our mother, walkers of the unknown, take with you on this journey all that you hone. So this to me speaks of all the skills. Like, and you mentioned earlier, as I work as a commercial pilot, I gave up the broomstick a while ago. Planes are a lot more comfortable and you fit more people on them. But I've worked as a pilot. Anyway, too long a story. Obviously, COVID sort of slowed it down a bit, but I've been flying since, the last almost 8-9 years, working professionally since 2016 as a commercial pilot. But there's all these skills, So yes, I was in a band. I was a rock star. I worked on TV and radio, write books. I fly airplanes.
Isn't she amazing?
Just all these things. Well, I haven't had kids. I didn't raise kids, so I've had time to do other things with my life.
Well,
so
you've had 15 books, so I think you've
they're
had
like my
15
children.
babies. Yes.
Yeah, it's true. And then in the band, when we wrote, music and released records and things in Def Effects and everything that I did in the 90s. But it's all these skills that you hone and then you take them with you. And that's, I think, a point at life where you got a lot of past. It's about consolidating all your experiences and then, taking them with you on your journey and trusting what to let go of.
Yes.
And also how to move forward and with, feeling inspired. But I think at this stage, I mean, I'd love to share, Lorraine, that this amazing deck, if you were to feel moved to explore this deck, it's 20% off. It's very easy to order right now. Magic ship anywhere in the world.
That's right.
Yeah. So I know there's some of my friends in Australia, some of my magical community in Australia joining us, and I know there's plenty of people probably around the world. I mean, we'd have to ask how many people are tuning in with our producers, but I would say that anywhere you are, you can get this deck from magic.com.
That's right. Easy peasy. And it doesn't matter if you're on your cell phone or your desktop at home. It's really easy to just click and add to the cart, and then you'll come right back here. So what should we talk about next? Because we have so many wonderful
I just touched
goodies.
this, and I'm super excited. This is the Pendulum Divination Kit, and it's is it Mystic Cat? Is that I guess that's the
Mystic Cat. Yeah, that's the one.
Pendulum Divination Kit. So it's actually Mystic Mog. How cute. That's what's written on the back. So I'm fascinated by pendulums, but I've never used them in such a way. I haven't made them the focus of my divination. I've always used tarot and other ways of divining. And but what do you know about pendulums?
So I used to use them a lot, and I have a really good friend who does Reiki, and she uses them a lot in her practice. She kind of uses them to go over the body and guides her to where she needs to be. I kind of use them
over
just
the body, like she divines
she holds them right over
body.
the body, over the chakra. She'll go one by one and kind of let it direct her to where she needs to work on the person.
Wow. Yeah.
Really beautiful. I think that's a really wonderful way to do it. But I think in this case, this one comes with this cool, amazing little plate, which is going to be beautiful on an altar already. But it's really great for yes or no questions, especially because tarot and oracle isn't really suited for yes or no questions that much. So this is a good alternative if you're looking for something like that. It's also a really good alternative if you're just a beginner. I think sometimes tarot and oracle can be a little bit scary. So if you want to, get your toes wet with divination, this is a great way to practice and start.
I love what's written on this. We didn't notice this yesterday. Look, 2 eyes to look and a third eye to see.
I did not see that
Isn't
yesterday.
That beautiful. It's just a little, I guess, there's a little sentence here, but it's very beautiful and very meaningful.
It is very meaningful. Definitely hitting that third eye energy. So we practiced a little bit yesterday with this. So we're going to try this again and see if we get the same answer.
Am I going to ask the same?
You're going to ask the same question. Gosh, I think it'll be fun. Okay, so
right,
I'm going to do a reading for her
because we're doing the double blind test on our divination skills today. Okay, so the question I asked yesterday, and I accept that answer, but I'm curious to see if it comes true again today, if anything's changed, is will I fly airplanes again?
Okay, we're not going to tell you what the answer is.
As a job.
As a job. Oh, as a job. You didn't say that yesterday.
All right, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go.
Will you fly airplanes again as a job? So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it over. So when it's still, it means the answer is no. So we have on the plate, I don't know if you can see it, but you have no, maybe, yes, and unsure. So are you going to fly commercial airplanes again as a job? So still on no. So
it's not moving.
It's not moving. Let's try maybe. It's not moving there either. Let's try unsure.
It's not moving.
It's not moving. Let's try yes. It's moving. It's moving.
Gosh. It did it again.
It did it again.
Can you see that? That's crazy. That's like what we did yesterday. I mean, I know I'm a witch and I've been, living the life of a witch for over 30 years, but this stuff still freaks me out. I mean, my goodness.
It really, you can't. Look, you can't disrupt the evidence. You really can't.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
you
a
can't.
clear.
That's what happened yesterday.
That is exactly what happened yesterday.
So I will fly again.
I think that, I think that is your answer. I think we can confirm it now.
Great. I'm so glad I don't have to get back on a broomstick because those things, they hurt after a while.
And if you want to try divination at home, if you want to try easy answers like this, I was telling her yesterday, this would be so great just to kind of lighten the mood in a party, especially if you have friends who maybe aren't quite witchy yet and you kind of just want to introduce them to it. I think this would be a wonderful option for that.
And that's the key thing, like you and I are here, we're witches. That's what it is. And witchcraft is still the fastest growing spiritual path in the Western world. It was when I came out of a broom closet, as we say, over 20 years ago. It's so many people are drawn to the craft and finding that it's enriching and guiding their lives. But there's a lot of people, as you said, who aren't sure or aren't witches, but are curious to explore some of the things we use in our everyday lives and seeing how it can enhance their lives. And I really think this pendulum is just a beautiful way to do that. Now, again, the divination kit, because it's a kit. So
that's right.
Do you want to hold that up, the beautiful crystal?
And let's show them the inside of the box too, because it really is lovely inside. This whole little how to use the pendulum, and it slips right in here perfectly. So if you wanted to, you could keep it in the beautiful box. I mean, it is a really wonderful, sturdy box.
And that just sits in here, like there's a little clip just there. That sits in,
Or you can take the plate out and put it on your altar. I mean, honestly, it would be beautiful either way.
Yeah.
And it will go lovely with these beautiful wands here.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
These amethyst wands. Now, there is only a limited quantity of these, but let me tell you guys, these are so amazing. We were holding them yesterday, and we both got goosebumps. I mean, the energy in here is just so fantastic.
It's happening again. My hairs are standing up in my arms. You know, one of the things with crystals, and I've written about this in my books, it's the idea of ethical crystal sourcing, because unfortunately, a lot of crystals out there are the byproducts of really destructive things like fracking. And when I know magic.com, we were talking about it, they really make every effort to make sure their crystals are ethically sourced and not from really destructive practices of mining and things like that. So when you hold a crystal and you really do get a sense, like, again, that it's really aligned and that in of itself, I mean, these are all energy conductors. So they're helping you understand your own energy as you're holding it. I have to say, I mean, as I hold it here, that there's a very practical use to something this big too. I was like thinking you clonked someone. I was walking home last night, and then again this morning, there's someone hanging around the street where I'm staying in Santa Monica. It's a little bit scary, and I sometimes think, having one of these in my purse would be really great, just to pull it out and say, that's not it. If he's got a knife or a rock, I'll say, that's not a rock. This is a rock. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
We like tools that are dual purpose. No,
sorry. Oh my gosh, I thought.
No, I missed
Crocodile Dundee. I'm just an Aussie thing. If anyone out there knows about Crocodile Dundee, it's old. Hey, I've been on the planet a while. What can I say? He gets accosted in the streets of New York, and Crocodile Dundee is a character from Australia, Paul Hogan, and this guy comes up to him and holds up a knife and tries to, mug him. And he looks at it. The guy's knife's about this big, and he goes, that's not a knife. And he pulls out of his pocket this massive knife, and he goes, this is a knife. And the guy just ran away.
Oh, wow.
Practical and magical. You could use this for self-defense, but more importantly, you can use it for psychic self-defense.
That's right.
And that's really where the amethyst crystal, any of you that have worked with it, it can really magnify your psychic energy and also allow you to do, clearing work.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's really good
Lorraine,
for
if you'd like to share.
Psychic protection, also opening up creativity. It's really awesome for that. It's really good for opening up the third eye, just kind of getting your whole energy flowing. And because this is a wand, it's really good for directing energy too. So you could actually use it to direct energy in a spell, open and close a circle. It is wonderful for that. You can lay it on the body and move energy up and down the whole chakra line.
Gosh, I really feel that. My heart starts to pound.
It really feels really good when you put it on your chest. That's definitely where I feel it would be a wonderful way to place it. And I just want to kind of go back to what you were saying about ethical crystal sourcing, because I think this is such a good topic to touch on. Number one, there are so many amazing people like magic.com who are doing their best to make sure that they source crystals ethically, but you really don't know. So I wanted to share a little practice that I think would be really meaningful. And one thing I love to do when I'm consecrating a new tool is just to take a moment to just thank everybody who had a hand in bringing the tool to me, whether that's the person who mined the crystal or the transportation worker, even just the postman if they came and delivered it to me, and just saying, thank you for allowing this to contribute to your livelihood, for allowing me to be able to do my practice, and kind of resetting some of that karmic energy and baggage.
Absolutely.
And also just saying, if anyone was ever harmed in this, I send them grace and love and wish them well. Yeah, 100%. Gratitude will change everything for you.
Yeah.
And now I think maybe we should talk about this book of spells, because this actually goes with this. These two kind of belong together. It's got the same beautiful cat on the front. This is also a journal. And I love this one because it's a great place. Obviously, you can just write whatever you want in it, but I'm always thinking of spells and invocations and little things that I want to remember on the go. So I can just toss this one in my bag. I can leave it on an altar. We were talking about yesterday how, we take notes as we're writing our decks and our books. So this one is really wonderful to have. Well, what would you do with it?
Well, I love the size of it for a start. I mean,
it's a good size,
it's a really great size to pop in a purse or just kind of have really close to you. And anytime you're inspired and get an idea to do something magical, you can make a record of it in here.
That's right.
And I think, the difference to something like this, say with Lorraine's journal, is that this has prompts and tools in it for the journey.
That's right.
And then this is something that really allows you to just go for it. When I look at it at pages like this with lines, I just think, oh my goodness, there's so much room for ideas. I never feel intimidated by a blank page. People have asked me, what's the secret to writing 15 books? I don't know about you when you do your writing, but I never ever throw away a thought. Like back in the day when I first started writing, I got an idea for the first line of my first book, and I just come off stage with my band and I was sweating away, and I had this idea, and I grabbed a napkin out of the green room and I'm sweating on it, and I wrote in a piece of pen, "Some people think you have to be born a witch. I disagree." And that was the start of my book, of my journey towards witchcraft, because it was a journey of discovery. And I still have that napkin.
I was
going to
say, I bet you kept it.
Yeah, it's like a talisman now. It's so when I say, I'm never intimidated by a blank page. You get no thought is wasted. Write it down. Never erase it. Likely, what's going to happen? You'll put something down. You think, oh, that was silly, but then you'll read it a few days later and go, actually, the ego is out of the way, and you can see that something was coming through you. So maybe not even from you.
And I actually love that, because I think sometimes, what I was saying earlier is we get in our own way. And sometimes when you write things down, I'm a big fan of something called the multi-mind. So sometimes when you're talking and you're thinking one thing, but there's something else going in the back of your head. So if you give yourself space to just write it out, you'll be surprised what comes along. And one
is
practice,
that automatic?
It is almost like automatic writing.
Yeah.
It kind of, if you write for a little bit, at least for me, especially when I'm writing my decks, like sometimes I'm just typing and I'm going, or I'm writing notes and I'm not even really consciously thinking of it. It's just kind of channeling through me and finds itself on the page. And I always say a journal can never tell your secrets. It will hold them safe for you. So this really is a sacred space where you can let all of your thoughts kind of hang out, and you never know. I have boxes of journals that I go back to all the time. There's definitely times when I've gone back to old journals and brought them into my
I've got
work.
Like a massive box of journals stored in a hangar in Santa Monica Airport at the moment.
And I'm
really
a bit nomadic. But it is beautiful to have all of this information and to go back to it. And funny story, when I first started reading tarot, I go back and I look at all of those readings and interpretations, and I just have to laugh at myself. I mean, some of these things I would never say now, but it's wonderful to see where I started and kind of how I came
the journey,
to.
And having that sense of...
Speaking of journeys, we're going back to that.
We are going back.
Yes. Yeah, that's the theme for today, journeys.
Journeys and protection. And what else have we got here that we should...
Well, I think maybe we should just talk about your lovely, her new deck. Dark Magic Oracle. I mean, it is so beautiful. Why don't you talk about this for a little bit?
Well, it was quite the journey to write this. And I think, in a nutshell, I could share that I actually started working on this not long after my Teen Magic book that came out in February 2021. And that was a guide for the younger witch, and I thought the Oracle deck was going to reflect that kind of journey. And be
Is that how you started with
how I started Dark Magic. But what happened in the process of that was, as I was quarter of a way writing through this, I suffered an attack. And this is a little dark and a little, but it definitely changed the whole what I was channeling through for this Oracle deck. I was attacked and I lost part of my hand, and it was very shocking and very difficult. And I lost the end of my right pinky finger here, nerve damage. It was a bite from an animal, and it was, while I was protecting my animal, it was a dog broke in and attacked an animal that I was very close to. So I sort of grabbed my animal and hit the other animal in the head, and that's where my hand got in the way. But having said that, it was an act of love and protection. But it changed. I couldn't write I couldn't type. I couldn't do anything. My hand was bandaged up for some time, and I had some pretty serious PTSD I had to work through. But all of this started coming through in the Oracle deck. And we talk about shadow work and talk about fear.
That's right.
It's very confronting to be sitting at your computer one day typing away and then go outside and have this thing happen in your own yard. That's where it happened.
And I imagine it must have brought up a lot for you too, as a writer and someone who finally who was facing that you can't write for a period of time.
My hands are everything. Whether I'm writing, whether I'm teaching yoga, whether I'm fire dancing, all the things that we do. I mean, my hands have always been very much an instrument of expression.
And as a witch too, I think we really use our hands a lot in, directing and moving power and energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it was kind of when this happened and dealing with all of that, when I could type again, when I could face sort of going back to the process of creating, this deck took on a very different message. And it really was, it's called Dark Magic Oracle, Reveal the Light Within. And in my very first book, there was a chapter that says it has to be dark to see the stars. And so I was I've always been fascinated with the darkness. And in the darkest night, you see those bright lights. And I've always tried to, in my life, learn that, these difficult things that happen aren't to show us how weak we are, but how strong we are.
That's right.
And so when I created the deck, it was to address the shadow self, but also the less convenient feelings and emotions, the challenging things in life that really sort of you feel they're throwing you off course, but really they're showing you another way. And this is also what I would call a post-pandemic deck in a way. It addressed a lot of the fallout from that time, the lockdowns and how it's affected us in our collective consciousness, even as we move on in life. So there's a little bit of a theme in that, which is about resurrection and rebirth. And every card sort of speaks to that. So some of the images, as you can see here, is holding them up on camera, but it's an amazing artist I found on Instagram, much like you found your artist.
I did.
Jessabella is an amazing person from the Philippines, and they create these images, and they're all self-portraits. So he's in every single one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Jessabella, and so we collaborated on some of the images. But some of the themes are in power. There's bats. You were driving yourself crazy. That was one of my favorites. See that. I love this one, magic, you are blessed. And this is kind of an idea where you can see on this card, he's holding his hands forward, and I suggested could we weave the pentagram in there like a cat's cradle for the weaving of the magic. So I think Rockpool have done a beautiful job with this as well. They've definitely
did we get a look at the silver gilding?
The silver gilt lining or edging is really beautiful. But yeah, Dark Magic Oracle, I think the main thing is to understand that it's if you're feeling confronted by challenging things in life, this oracle is here to help you not feel shamed by the difficulties in your life, but to feel blessed by them and to have an opportunity to go, okay, what can I learn? I mean, I lost part of my hand. What could I learn? Well, I'll tell you what I learned. It was something interesting. I had a girl who's studied with a South American healer, and she said that, did you know what the ancient Mayans used to do to those they thought had special gifts and special powers? And she wrote to me. I said, no. And she said they would take them to the top of the pyramid and cut off the end of their right pinky finger.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so a little bit gory for the first show of magic.com, but really I've learned to live with it. And it's but when it came along, it kind of reminded me that, as confronting as this event in life is on an everyday basis, how it affected my work, my ability to do the things you take for granted, it was an opportunity to dive deep into my inner magic and my inner resourcefulness and actually really step onto my path as a witch and as a person in a newly inspired way. So having said that, let's get Lorraine to pull a card. Would you like to do that,
I would
darling?
like to pull a card. I love what you say on the back of the box. I just want to read really quickly. This deck is a tool for exploring deeper levels of personal evolution. I love that process of just going deeper because we can always go deeper, right? We always think we've reached kind of the pinnacle of our journey and we can always go one step deeper.
And you're like, oh, wait, there's another
There's a
down
whole
there.
other, it's like a drop off in an ocean. You know what I mean?
And
I
do. I love it 'cause I'm a free diver.
She's a free driver. So
I do get down, like the deepest I've been so far is 104 feet. That's on a single breath. That's 31 meters for my Aussie mates.
I told you this lady was incredible.
Well, I think I like to think of it as I'm embodying the elements, and I love exploring the different elements, earth, fire, and water. And a big part of my water element is exploring free diving now. And it's like returning to the womb. I mean, when we're in the womb,
we're in water.
I mean, we're in water. Our lungs are full of fluid.
That's right.
It's kind of like returning to the source.
And I'm a heavy water sign, so I really resonate
What
with
are you?
it. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, goodness, I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
That's why we get along
that
so
is
well
exactly
as
why.
mates. That's what we've had a great time. I only met Lorraine yesterday, and
And
she's
we're
amazing.
already fast friends.
Yeah.
So she's a Scorpio, I'm a Cancer. I feel like that's very reflective in our decks
You're a
too.
Scorpio, I'm a Cancer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What does that mean? I better look at my chart and check.
Do you know your moon sign?
Well, it's Virgo, actually.
Oh, is it Virgo?
Yeah, Virgo, because I'm a bit OCD, a bit overly organised. I'm not OCD. There's no such thing. I like being organised. What about you?
I don't think there's anything wrong with being organized.
No.
I'm a Pisces moon, but I'm a Capricorn rising. So I have, your first approach of me is very earth-based. Everyone thinks I'm an earth sign. So
I was going to say, when you said water, I did not think, I thought you were going to say
everyone
you're a
says,
Taurus or something.
everyone thinks I'm an earth sign. And that's probably why.
All right, well, I've shuffled my deck nowhere near as slick as Lorraine did. I'm taking her to Vegas with me.
All my family's from Vegas. This is why.
Oh, that's what it is. I don't gamble. I don't do any of that
I don't
stuff.
gamble
Do you
either.
gamble?
No, I'm really not a gambler. Look, I'm the type where I'll go to a casino with $20, and once I get that $20, that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of the road.
Yeah, if I'm going to do anything, I have a limit for sure.
For sure.
All right. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to just hold these out for you.
Okay. This one calls to
Now,
me.
is this for you? Yes.
Yes, this will be for me. Okay. Familiar. Funny enough, this is actually a repetitive card for me too, because I have another deck that's coming out, which I haven't shown you just yet. We'll get to that in another show. But I have a card in the deck that is familiar, and I pulled it today just before I came here.
That's wild. Well, what familiar is, bond with your spirit animal. So a familiar in, I guess, the tradition of witchcraft, we would say it's a literal animal companion that helps facilitate your magical practice and works with you and enhances it, and it's like an assistant almost, shall we say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When I was writing this card and channeling the message through it, because I say often, I don't know, I think you agree, often when we write these things, it doesn't come from us, it comes through us.
100%.
And then our human mind kind of organizes it into a story that we can share in this physical plane. But a lot of this stuff comes through us. And so familiar, know your spirit animal. So what I suggest with this card, because every card has a ritual or a spell goes along with it. And then also tips and...
8. 8 came up again.
8. And it also has tips for like daily magical practice aligned with the card as well. There it is.
So
working with your familiar.
Working with your familiar. Beautiful.
And the other thing is, your spirit animal can change throughout your life.
That's right.
Yeah, and it can reflect where you are on your journey and the sort of assistance and help you may need. So, I mean, when I had my first familiar, it was a snake, Lulu. She was my first familiar many, many years ago, and I'd had a dream, and in this dream was the voodoo goddess Ezuli came to me. She's a Haitian goddess. I'm pretty sure Haitian. Forgive me if I'm saying something wrong here, but my memory is just there was this name Ezuli, and I didn't know what it was, and then I pictured a little brown snake. And that was my dream. And then the next day, I was living in Australia. The next day, I went to the local pet store and there was a little brown snake.
Aww.
And so I bought her and I called her Lulu, and she became my familiar. And you have to have a license to own snakes in Australia. So, but yeah, Lulu was an amazing companion. And then since then, I've had a cat and a dingo and a dog.
Oh my God, you've had a dingo.
That was what was going on when I lost my finger. Anyway, we've had that story.
Well, I love the practice you have in here. Carry a pouch with a photo of your familiar or spirit animal, because I think that's really important too, is that your familiar doesn't necessarily have to be a physical animal that you have with you. It can be a photo or something that comes to you in a dream or in a vision.
And it may even be a mythical animal.
That's right. Like a centaur, or going back to our sexy beast. So, it could be any sort of things. I have a frog as a familiar right now. Also butterflies, but butterflies are coming to me quite a bit recently. There's been a whole lot of rebirth. Yeah, and that's definitely where my life has been this year. The beautiful orange butterflies. So that's beautiful. Why don't we pull another card for the collective for everyone who's here?
Okay. All right.
Let's see what do you guys need to know today? Mirror, reflect yourself. Well, that's beautiful.
This is a really interesting one, because this is about, we were talking about self-limiting beliefs and being able to clear that out of your life and clear the path. And mirror, the message of mirror is, to not get so obsessed with your own reflection that you would start to play out the same patterns and the same not, I won't say mistakes. Life is a classroom, you know, it is.
Right.
But it's about, you know, are you ready for some new lessons and some new challenges? So with Mirror, reflect yourself. What I think is really beautiful about being that we're talking here today about, you know, expanding your magical practice, enhancing it by maybe getting some of the lovely products and things we have here today. Um, it's about seeing yourself as capable of more than maybe you've seen before.
And I just want to add in with that too, with mirrors, and we're talking a lot about shadow work, and it really does require you to really stop and kind of face yourself and ask yourself, you know, why am I going through all of these things? Why am I experiencing all of these things? And not from a place of criticism, because we don't want to criticize ourselves, but we really just want to stop and say, you know, how can I learn from this? And it really does come from being able to just stop and be a witness to your own journey and kind of ask
Yeah.
yourself where you're going. And I think you probably even talk a little bit about that in this beautiful, luscious book I've been dying to get to,
Out
because
of which,
it
yeah.
is so, I mean, the cover, it's very velvety and soft. There's a lot of really wonderful information in here. And you're going to be signing some of these,
Oh
I
my
understand.
goodness, yes. Some of what we have here today for Lorraine's work and for mine, some will be signed and some will be unsigned.
That's right.
But yes,
see if
The
you can
Art of
see it.
Which was my manifesto that I wrote in 2019. I wrote it through that year, and wonderful Rockpool put it out then. And it's a little bit different to a lot of the other books on witchcraft out there, because there's no spells in it for a start. It's more like the philosophy and the principles of modern witchcraft, and what I've learned as a practicing witch for over 30 years. I mean, you know, I guess I would be considered an elder now in the craft for the years that I've practiced, and you know, the journey of it all. And on the back, but be thyself, be fearless, be proud. The Art of Which is your manifesto. So it's what you make of this. But the biggest lesson I learned being a modern witch was that really my greatest power that I could ever experience or even display is not by what I'm getting out of my craft, but what it empowers me to give. How can I show up in the world and be useful? And how can I, and that's actually the secret to making your spells work 100% of the time. I don't know about you, Lorraine, but it's in this book, but I'm going to give it away, the brief version of it. Um, if you can make your spell, the purpose of your spell, not just for your own finite needs, but that you can see how could it benefit or be useful to someone else, then the universe will and then you basically shape your spell. You might even change it a little bit from what you've read in a book or what you originally wrote in your book of spells journal, and you will redefine its purpose. So say, here's an example. You want to get a new job. You're done with your job. You want a new job, and you're thinking about prosperity. You're thinking about abundance. You might be getting a green candle here for the prosperity and abundance. You might be starting to weave together an idea of how you want to bring that into your life. It's a new job. So then you think, okay, new job might be more money, better opportunities. And then you think, well, how will that make me useful in the world?
Right.
And you think, okay, well, if I'm happier and I'm supported and I'm sustained, I can be more useful in really obvious ways. Like when I started flying airplanes for a job, it placed me in a position where I could volunteer to provide humanitarian aid. So I put together 2 aid flights to Haiti in the wake of Hurricane Matthew, which was in 2016. I worked with a foundation, the Good Samaritan Foundation of Haiti, and I helped put together 2 aid missions. So my job as a pilot was allowing me to use those skills, those contacts, and to deliver aid to a country that was stricken and in need. Now, that's a really big example. You might say, gosh, my new job, I just don't want to work at McDonald's anymore. I'd like to finish my flight training and, and bring in. And so then you think, okay, well, my flight training, what would I do with it? Well, I would make it of service. I would maybe fly angel wings, and fly kids who can't afford treatment for cancer from Mexico into LA and help them get their treatment. I mean, these are big, broad strokes. You should never think small when you're casting spells and wanting to be of service. How can I be of most service? And then when you define the spell that way, then the universe always conspires in your favor and makes it true.
I agree with that. I think that any time that you can kind of put someone else's needs above your own and really search for a reason how you can be useful, because we're all here for a purpose, right? We all have talents and gifts, and we're all here to share it with the world. And that's really what all of these tools do for you. They kind of help you direct that energy and kind of help you get more familiar with how your energy works. And you, like you said, you may light a green candle when you're looking for a job, or you may find something like devil's shoestring to put to
I think I might just have just a little bit.
Do you have a little
I think
bit?
I just have a little tiny bit. Excuse me, I've just got to pick it up off the floor. It's just a tiny bit. Oh goodness, of course not. You know what? Oh my gosh, it smells
really
really
good.
good. Yum. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is Devil's Shoestring. So the other really amazing thing about magic.com is that they can bring you medicinal and magical
That's right.
herbs. And you can order, you don't have to buy this amount, but you can if you really, it's wild crafted too, which means it's been grown and picked, not like it's been, how do we describe wild crafted? It's foraged. And
it's like it's foraged. It means someone is not harvesting it specifically in a farm. It's more out in nature and growing wild.
Yeah, beautiful. So, you can buy a portion of this or all of it if you like. But the great thing about magic.com is you can order your herbs and all sorts of goodies. I actually have something else over here.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, I thought you're feeling sassy, Lorraine.
I am feeling a bit sassy.
Centaur, my goodness. Here we go.
What is this? Sassafras.
Whole leaf, wild crafted again. So look, you can buy smaller amounts, larger amounts, and anything you buy today is 20% off.
That's right. And that's the great thing about magic.com. In addition to having amazing oracle decks and books and journals, they have all of these wonderful tools. I mean, they have incense. We had some candles going which blew out, but that's okay. Yeah. And I really want to talk about this candle because I'm so excited about these. I'm going to take a few of these home myself because gorgeous the beautiful thing about these when they burn down is that you can use them as altar dishes or you can use them as offering dishes. You can use them as little incense dishes. Once it cleans out, you can make an incense and put it in here. I mean, these are really beautiful.
They smell like
this one's
real
lavender,
essential oils, not perfumed.
Yeah, these have a really good, and they come in a variety of scents. We have citronella,
got
sage.
Patchouli here. I'll give you that for the centaur. There you go.
Patchouli. Sexy beast hair. We've got a whole variety of them here. And they're going to be so perfect for Samhain too. I mean, you can really work these into your witchy decor. Dopamine decor is really a thing now, and we want to have all.
What did you call it?
Dopamine decor.
That's amazing.
Have you heard of this? It's going around.
I can imagine what it likely is, but please explain.
So dopamine decor is this idea that your home should be reflective of you. It should be expressive of what you enjoy, and it doesn't matter if it's trendy or if it looks good to other people. It's just decorating in a way that makes you feel good.
Because dopamine is the substance that makes our brains naturally produce that makes us feel good.
Yeah. That's right. So it's all about just having things in your home that make you feel good. And for me, having cauldrons make me feel good. And I'm actually thinking this could be so cool if you get some essential oils. You could clean the candle out and put this over a little tea light. Like imagine having this hanging over a tea light and then having your essential oils going. Beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. And these are like, this is like a cast iron. It's like
it's like real cast iron.
This is real cast iron.
I mean, it's really heavy. It's a really can you hear it? It's a really good quality, and it's got little feet on it, so when you burn it,
we went, cheers.
Well, they can be shot glasses.
Well, non-alcoholic for me. I don't know. What's your favorite thing to have a shot of?
Oh, my favorite thing to have a shot of, it really changes with the day. I don't drink alcohol just because I'm trying to be snotty about it and learn how to drink whiskey really well and wine and all of those things. So I'm trying a bunch of different things, but I would say whiskey is probably the best because this is supposed to be a friendly show, but if you drink pickle juice after whiskey, then it kind of cuts the hangover. I heard
the same thing about tequila, actually.
Really?
The tickle pickle, the pickle juice chaser.
I didn't know it worked for tequila.
Well, I mean, when I used to drink over 11 years ago, I've been sober in a program for 11 years. So, it's definitely the pickle juice chaser does take away the taste of the tequila. But it's, I do remember that. But honestly, it's interesting because even though I don't drink alcohol and I don't do any other kind of substances like any kind of drugs or things, I find at this point in my craft that a lot of the times creating that dopamine environment, creating a space what did you call it again?
Dopamine decor.
It's such a great name. Creating space that is intrinsically pleasing to you is a really beautiful way to explore states of consciousness that shift. So for me, practicing yoga, doing my free diving, meditation, using certain instances like, when you got this smudge stick going earlier, it's an immediate sense of euphoria, which allows your consciousness to shift. Now, if you're enjoying a shot of whiskey, because I know you're not sort of in that space where you're just drinking it to be wasted, alcohol was created as a tool of what's
Like
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 a
pleasure and
but
enjoyment.
also I mean, I've just been to Egypt. I was there only a month and a half ago, and the fermented drinks, are very much a part of worship and spirituality, and
That's
that's
true,
kind of the
actually.
role they played in the evolution of the human, and that's kind of yeah. But I don't miss drinking. You can have all the whiskey you want for
Oh
me.
no, I
Okay.
don't want too much, just a little bit. But like you said, it really is about just being happy and finding little moments
Mm,
of joy. And that's the way that I look at it. Is sometimes, you just want to sit down and relax in your favorite chair and maybe journal a little bit, have
yeah.
a drink or a cozy cup of
I'll
something
I'll have a
wonderful.
kombucha. That's my five
And
o'clock drink.
kombucha, that's wonderful. Whatever makes you feel good and happy, whether that's alcohol or water or any of it, I think it's wonderful. Or one of these beautiful candles.
Yeah, the 7-day candles are amazing.
How
How
do
are we
you
going
use
for
them?
time? We've still got a
We
bit of
still got a
time to
little bit,
keep
yeah.
talking. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves at home there, and taking advantage of anything that you see today that you like at magic.com is a 20% off.
That's right.
So this the 7-day candle. This is the road opener. It's funny. I was looking at this one a lot today as we're at the table, and
Money
it's
drawing.
money drawing.
Yep.
Yeah, the road opener journey.
That's right.
And the trick with these with the 7-day candles, like Lorraine was saying, I guess maybe yesterday or before, that the way you consecrate a candle, I love how you do it with the incense.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we might not
So,
be able to demonstrate completely today because we do have a little fan blowing, but
yeah, but what I was saying, and we've got these amazing incense. They come in a variety of different scents. The one I have here is protection because we're dealing with protection today. But whenever I'm working with any sort of ritual, potion, or tool or anything, especially because I'm a potions maker, I like to just light the incense, get the smoke going, and kind of just run it around the rim just to clear the energy,
and
open
it
up the
builds
space.
up and
Yeah,
swirls.
and
Yeah.
it's really wonderful. It kind of just gets the energy going in here. And you can do it on the outside, you could do it around your decks, you could do it around your crystals. One thing that I love to do is if I'm trying to unravel something, I'll unravel it this way. And then if I'm building, I'll go this way. So you can really use this in a variety of ways. I think incense are such an easy way to clear energy, get energy moving, consecrate your tools
You can even
without.
cast circle with a stick
Yeah,
of
you could
incense. I
cast
mean,
with
you
an
can
incense.
light it and you can move it around the sunwise direction and call in the quarters, or just state that the space is blessed and sacred, and with the smoke extending around you.
You can draw sigils, you can write things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things. I think
Even
incense are underrated.
Yeah, I think so too. And even these stick incense, because a lot of times you feel like you've got to use, if for the real magic work, you've got to use the loose incense. You've got to
Right.
put it on the charcoal disc, which this would be a really good holder for
For
charcoal when it's
charcoal
empty
for the
with the
loose
candle.
incense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put
that's
sand
what
in
I
it,
thought
put
too.
the charcoal disc on. It's amazing. But I love that we actually have the 4 elements here, really, really beautifully represented. When you think, you have fire for the element of fire, you have a candle for that. You've got incense for air. This actual incense, this magic spell incense, comes with a pentagram disc here, a pentacle disc.
Oh,
That is really beautiful. It
yeah, it
comes,
comes.
yeah, it's attached. So then that's the stand. So just like in the traditional altar where you would have like a clay or brass disc with the pentagram on it, the pentacle is a beautiful way to just stand your incense. Let's make sure that's on camera.
Yeah, can you see it?
So then you're getting the element of earth, air, fire. If you have some, a bowl of water,
Well,
or
we
even
actually have this beautiful bowl
oh
here,
my
which will be
gosh,
perfect as a vessel for water.
yeah, and put some salt in it to
Yeah.
purify it. Yeah, and then you can dip your fingers in and splash the space to clear the space and bless
That's
the
right.
space.
And all of
Yeah.
these are available. You can see actually everything that we have here. You can see all in one place, so you can pull all of them up.
Palo Santo.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. See, that's good Palo Santo.
Yeah, that Palo Santo is my favorite for sure. And we have a different couple of different sages here. I don't know if you can see all the different ones. This beautiful rainbow chakra
That's the
one,
chakra
which
one,
goes
yeah.
lovely with our incense holder. I didn't even.
We didn't even
Forgot-
talk about that
yeah.
yet. Yeah, the incense holder, what I love about this one is that it's not only about, having to do magic. I mean, with my yoga, I sort of practice a kind of witchy yoga. I've talked about it actually in The Art of Witch. There's a whole chapter about witchy yoga and how the 8 limbs of yoga relate to a witch and our practices and our path, or how they can. But this is a beautiful incense holder that has the girl in the lotus position, lotus asana, and the chakras are represented. And it's just be really great for a yogi as well as anyone who's interested in magical practice.
That's right.
Lorraine really loves this one.
I do really love it. I think it's really great for when I'm doing work on just aligning my energy centers and working with kind of balance and I love to move energy from the root all the way up to the crown and back around. So for me, I would love to have this going in the background with some wonderful incense, just to have it there. And it kind of ties into that dopamine decor because it's beautiful. It's lovely to look at, and it kind of just makes me happy to look at it and think, oh, I've got to do some chakra work today. So I think that's a beautiful reminder. 100%.
What else have we got here?
We have
we're coming up to our hour.
Yeah,
Can you believe
we're
it?
almost close
to
an hour.
magic.com, and
this is what happens when we get together. We can talk about all of these things.
I mean, could you imagine if magic.com was going to be 2 hours long? We'd probably need to take a sip of water, which I might just do.
She's going to take a little bit of
sip of
water.
A sip of water? We talked about taking a sip of water. We were like, oh, do we pull out our...
Self-care, guys. Okay. So yeah, we have gone through the whole bandwagon. We just want to remind you of a couple of different things. Remember that you can get our decks signed and unsigned, as well as our books. We have both of those in offer. Everything is 20% off, and you will be able to continue to shop. And if you don't see something,
that's a really good point. You said, like, continuing to shop. Magic.com is online 24/7.
That's right.
So take your time. If you're on the site now, take your time to look around and see the incredible offerings there. Like we were talking about, they've got the herbs.
I mean, they have hundreds of goodies for you to check out.
We're actually in the magic.com warehouse right now. So when we look around,
there is so much to have on offer.
And there's a whole massive room through there with a team of people packing, and everyone's so nice here.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really, I think, as people drawn to practicing witchcraft, magic, enhancing our lives in a way where we're using these sorts of esoteric things.
That's right.
It's all about energy. It's all about how good we're feeling about what we're doing, and how and where stuff comes from. And so I think when you're shopping at magic.com, you can know you're actually with some really awesome people. And I mean, I was so excited. I mean, I'm not always in LA. I am very nomadic at the moment. I mean, I'll be in New Orleans for Hex Fest, which is an amazing witch convention just in a couple of weeks. And then I go to Dubai, and then the south of France, and then Egypt. I'm going to be sort of researching. I'm going to be putting together some magical experiences of Egypt for travelers. And I'll be launching that in 2024. I'm really excited about that. And there's definitely a mystic spiritual experience to be had. And if I may interject just a moment more, I was told I could hold this up, but I'd love to share that I'm excited that I've started a Patreon page.
Okay.
And so it's patreon.com. I'll just make sure that's on camera, not blowing in the wind too much. Hang on, here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So patreon.com/Fiona Horne. That's my Patreon page. And my dear friend Wendy Rule, who's an amazing witch musician and artist, said, you've got to get a Patreon together, because it's a great way of having community. And people can subscribe. And I do weekly readings, Sunday motivational messages, and there's different tiers. And, it starts for just a few dollars a month. And then there's, if you want to sort of invest more in the community and in the sorts of things I'm sharing and offering there, then there's different tiers. I'm sure most people know what Patreon is these days. But yeah, I was super excited to create patreon.com/Fiona Horne, and grateful that I could mention it today. And I'm actually reading my books on camera. So I'm actually reading my autobiography, The Naked Witch, at the moment on video as a part of my Patreon, and giving back sort of behind the scenes backstories and little bits of extra information, even though it's a pretty revealing autobiography. I mean, magic.com has that too if you want to check it out. We don't have it on the table today. But what have you got coming up, Lorraine?
Well, I was just going to say I have a whole bunch of wonderful things coming up. I have the Witching Hour Oracle, which of course magic.com will have, as well as the Seasons of the Witch Maven Oracle just came out, which you can shop here. And then later on in the year, I will have Seasons of the Witch in Bulk Oracle. So we will have I think this is the 5th installment of the Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck series. So a lot of really great things.
So we know there's 8.
There will be 8 in total.
Because there's 8 Sabbats.
That's right. Yes. There will be 1 for each Sabbath, 1 for each sacred day on the Wheel of the Year. So I think, guys, we're not going to keep you too much longer. We're going to let you have a wonderful evening. But please be sure to check us out. I'm on Instagram as Spirit Element, and she's on Instagram as Captain Fifi.
Captain Fifi. And then I have my website, FionaHorne.com. as well, and obviously my Patreon. I'm going to hold it up one more time just because we have another minute.
And
I'm just super excited about doing this. I'm really enjoying getting to know everyone who's joining the community, and because you end up messaging people and getting close. And I think that's the difference. We're in the public eye before social media. It was a very different way of meeting and greeting and getting to know people. And that's, even though I'm much more of a nature girl. I fly planes and I do all these things around technology. However, I'm very much a nature girl. I always have been. That's how I knew I was a witch growing up in Australia in the bush. I just wanted to run off into the bush, and I felt that I had this relationship that was magical with that natural world, and that just became part of my practice as a witch. But I really feel that we're very blessed to live in the modern age with social media, with smartphones, and understanding how it can be used as a tool of community creation, unity, and as long as we don't spend too long on them. We do need to have some time. Have you ever looked at your screen time and had a heart attack?
I try to avoid my screen time. I am really good about limiting myself, so I try not to look at it too much.
Is there a spell for limiting your screen time? Can we just ad lib right now and do a spell for limiting screen time? Let's ask a master spellcaster.
I think we should just write one and offer it to your Patreon. It gives them a reason to come and sign up. I'll write one for you, and then you'll
so we'll
offer
keep it a scoop,
Patreon.
And we'll do Lorraine and I will do a would you be a guest on my Patreon?
I will be a guest on your Patreon.
Gosh. Okay, I'm going to interview Lorraine on my Patreon as part of my Sunday motivational message for next week.
I will do that. I would love to.
And then we'll do the spell for limiting your screen time so that it enhances your life but doesn't dominate your life.
That's right.
The most important thing is to put your phone down and get outside and put your bare feet on the earth.
Be present, be in the moment, and enjoy life.
And make sure you buy something at magic.com today, because it's 20% off.
That's right. And you can shop 24 hours a day at magic.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We were so lucky to have you on our first live experience, and we'll see you in the next one.